We are being asked to keep on incurring the light, to have patience, to clear away ego. This time before the Lion's Gate is a powerful time of receiving light codes activations. But sometimes it feels like it's not working, or that all this spiritual stuff is a bunch of nonsense that doesn't work. But then we remember how we feel. We may never know what is really true or what is really real, but we know when we feel a resonance in our hearts. What feels true in our hearts is what matters. It's a remembrance of our soul, of many past lives. We come into each life through the divine law of amnesia, with no recollections of our mission or of the lessons we've set out to learn in this life. In fact, the experience of living, of each situation we find ourselves in how we uncover the treasure box that lies within. But still, in a world where bills need to be paid, foods need to be put on the table, and shelter is required, we wonder if we really are moving into the new earth. During the beginning of my awakening stage, I used to lie in my bed. In the dark, I see silver sparks of light, like stars. They would always be close to the window in the beginning, but gradually began to spread to different areas and move around. At first, I used to wonder, but recently I heard, "Be calm." Those are spirit beings in their conscious forms of light. As I grew within my spirituality, these beings showed themselves to me more often, and after a while, I looked forward to seeing them. As my mind ascended into consciousness, the light began showing themselves more and more, but because of my evolvement, I began discernment them interdimensionally. What I mean by this is that I would be in my awakened state and not see these beings in physical form, but see them in my mind's eye. This meant that I had evolved, and I was now plugged into the universe. I also heard from them the same way. When you consciously direct your attention towards the realms of spirit, you will likely have experiences where you glimpse beyond the veil. These glimpses, spiritual experience, whether they happen spontaneously or from consciously working towards opening your psychic abilities, attunes your energy to spirit and anchors spirit into the physical, further peeling back the veil of illusion and freeing your conscious awareness. The process of gradually peeling back the veils of illusion raises your frequency, expanded consciousness, and empowers you to enter into a heightened state of awareness. As more and more individuals wake up and experience beyond the veil, this gradually and yet constantly thins the veil on a collective scale. Yes, this is happening now, and yes, the thinning is accelerating. An easy way to create the vibration of receiving is by writing down at least 3 things you are grateful for every morning and every evening. Of course, you can also just think about what you are grateful for, but when we write things down, our minds see words on paper and start to believe that they are real. With gratitude and high vibration emotions, over time, your focus will shift to noticing the good in your life. In the process of taking action and adjustment your actions to align with flow, your vibrational level can become high enough that it matches that of your future self-vibration. As your heart opens to gratitude, it also opens to align with your vision, with your intuition guiding you along the way. your life begins to unfold before your eyes. Another way to create our future selves is through the lens of divine guidance. When we ask angels and guides to help, they respond by sending us ideas, opportunities, and people. In the meantime, notice what seems to come into your path. Is there a thought or idea that keeps coming back to you over and over? I believe that Spirit speaks to us in threes. If I hear the same book recommendation or the name of someone I should meet from a few different places, then I know that my divine guides are trying to get through to me. The universe does not always bring us what we seek in the way we expect and in the time frame we would like. Things can change based on timing, on other people's free will, and our own evolving desires. But for some reason, she could not communicate with me, and in order to do so, she had to communicate through others who stood between us. The message conveyed to me from her was that I should do a sacrifice for 3 of her children, which made me wonder if one of the 4 she actually had also transitioned. She told me through this message that she knew what was happening on Earth, and she did not want her children to be vulnerable to it. I did the sacrifice she asked of me, but I felt so comforted by the fact that regardless of however long ago she transitioned, she felt she could rely on me to assist in protecting her living children. However, I was curious as to why she could not meet me herself, but had to speak through messengers. But I realized that perhaps where I stood, she could not come close, and all of this has to do with the vibratory frequency levels that either she or I carried at the point of connection. Different thin places grant you access to different aspects of spirit, and different spiritual dimensions and benevolent spirits. For example, to keep running with the shoreline where ocean meets land, it's not necessarily going to provide clear access beyond the veil to talk to your grandfather in spirit. But it will likely be a place where it's easier to communicate with the spiritual beings who are present in that space. Although the veils are certainly thinning now, as physical beings, the realms of magic and spiritual largely remain just outside of our everyday awareness and normal waking consciousness. This doesn't, however, mean that we can't consciously cultivate a profound relationship with spirit, and through this, further peel back the veil of illusion to expand consciousness and anchor the light and wisdom of the spiritual realms into life to help bring about positive change and transformation in the physical. A great place to begin cultivating that relationship and peeling back the veil is through meditation. When we tap into the energy of co-creation and of divine laws, we begin to work with magical forces. This magic is about allowing rather than forcing. Sometimes we think that if we just tried harder and worked more, then we could make it work. In fact, the opposite is true. If we allow divine will to move as it does, we can learn to trust that our order in the restaurants of the universe is being prepared. Eventually, we begin to understand that the divine gifts around us are truly ours to experience and generate as co-creators. By clearing out the negative ego thoughts in our minds, we'll learn to explore, experiment, and take risks, especially by reaching out to others. We are casting our nets widely to see what we can catch, over and over. Then, one day, when we least expect it, we find that we have become our future selves. If you are curious to learn more about how to work with these divine laws and how to be in this crazy time, take some time. You may want to add my recent video. Tools for the Awakening Soul, a guide to activate your intuition and uncover your life's purpose, to your spiritual toolkit. We are doing the work, clearing ancestral patterns and also those from many past lives. This is the life where we step fully into our life. The world we are creating, as way showers, will be a golden age of pure love. What happened here was that from my intention of going to her room, my spirit had already gone before me and announced itself that it was there, and she picked it up. In other words, my thought arrived at her door before my physical body even left the room. However, the fact that she was able to hear my intention shows her own spiritual development as well. We may see ourselves moving individually, but we actually move multidimensionally. It is not possible to move before the spirit. When we travel, before we arrive to our destination, we have already arrived. But if you want to move, but you find that you cannot, it means that your spirit is not yet ready to move. You are not controlled by the body is controlled by the spirit. Spirit shows itself to us in many different forms, including animals. It is so possible for a living person to project his or her spirit into that of an animal, or manifested the animal itself. This can be either malevolent or benevolent, whether to spy, to harm, and to heal. Likewise, the living person does not have to be asleep to perform these abilities, or even aware that they are. You are divine, you are one with Source, you are love, and there is nothing else and no need for anything else, because love is all that is. By trusting and accepting yourselves, the divine and perfect children of earth that you all are, as sinless and infinitely worthy of God's love, you are being your true selves, all that you can be all. A new presence in form now is strongly and most vigorously assisting in bringing the collective awakening into growth. That is precisely why you choose to be incarnate at this particular moment in humanity's irreversible spiritual evolution. While also accepting that, while in form, you would indeed forget who you truly were, but would nevertheless follow a particular personal path through the illusion to help in bringing about the collective awakening. This, the collective human awakening, is happening now, at incredible speed, and there are extremely clear signs of this wherever you choose to focus your human attention. Be of good cheer, all is well, it cannot be otherwise. You are doing what you were incarnated to do. You are being. Being is being love, which is your real and true nature. You cannot be anything other than love, although as humans in form is an unreal and temporary environment. You can, and mostly do, choose to believe that the environment in which you find yourselves is a totally real and often dangerous one. And so, you mostly use or engage with your egos to guide and protect you from the dangers with which human life presents you. Believing that to be loving is weak and will encourage others to take advantage of your weakness. And this mildly distracts and discourage you from being you. Just don't seem to have the time, and yet you cannot be.